What up, y'all? What's going on out there, man? Subscribe to the channel. You know what I'm saying? Share the video. Help me build this channel. You tuning in right now with your boy C4 for show. Intelligent Ignorance. Tapping in TV. You tapping in with me right now. Offering something a little different to YouTube. A different perspective. Content over controversy. But yeah, man, we're going to talk about Charleston White. And Charleston White, he's became an internet sensation over these last couple of years by basically agitating and being a nuisance to the hip hop community and to specifically rappers. That's his target, rappers. He don't mind getting into it with any and everybody and talking his shit. That's what Charleston White does, right? Now, he's made some disparaging remarks against Nipsey Hussle. He's made some disparaging remarks against DMX, against King Von, against basically anybody you could think about. He does it for a reaction. And everybody gives him what he wants, a reaction. But beyond the antics, and beyond a lot of things that Charleston White talks about, he also actually has a message, believe it or not. I've heard a lot of Charleston White clips. I fast forward through the clown shit and I get through the meat of what he's talking about. And the meat of what he's talking about, he actually holding our culture accountable. And if you think about it, he's telling the truth. A lot of things that we glamorize and glorify is dysfunctional, destructional behavior that we cause to ourselves. Now, true, we wasn't gave the best conditions, we wasn't dealt the best cards that will lend us to turn the wrong way. But at the same time, you got to be accountable for your actions. And a lot of these actions we doing to ourselves. For example, our youngsters these days refer to themselves as ops. Whose fault is that? They looking at their fellow black brother as an op. Somebody to take out, you know? So yeah, I mean, Charleston White definitely has some points in what he's saying, but you know, he goes about it in the wrong way. So I think that Charleston White has a death wish, and I think someone's going to grant him that wish, unfortunately, and that will make him even more popular. He's going to be more popular in death than he is in life, and his videos will get spread out even more. So that's my take briefly on Charleston White. So Charleston White has recently got into it with T.I. and Boosie, also with their sons. Charleston White has no limit to who he will go after over the internet. So apparently what happened was he was in Dallas and he called the police on somebody. And T.I.'s son made a reference video to Charleston White calling the police. And then he started going at T.I.'s son. So quite naturally, T.I. is going to take up for his son, and he goes at Charleston White. So right now what's going on in October of 2022, we got Charleston White in an internet beef with T.I. and his son, and also Boosie and his son. Now with Boosie, Charleston White picked at Boosie because Boosie made comments about Kanye West. Kanye West also is what's going on in 2022, October. Kanye West came out with some shirts that said White Lives Matter. So Boosie was on Drink Champs and just on his Instagram, just making videos about Kanye West being crazy and this and that. So Charleston White took up for Kanye West and he came at Boosie. So what this did, this enabled Boosie's son to come at Charleston White. So Charleston White is going at, it seems like everybody, every week. And also Boosie's son burn Kanye's shoes, the Yeezy. That's what's going on. So Kanye West been going back and forth with P. Diddy. He been going back and forth with Boosie. Kanye West been going back and forth with Mark Zuckerberg. He just got his Twitter and his Instagram banned. So it's just a lot going on right now, man. So I just like to give a take that a lot of people don't consider. I told my brother this last night. Beef on the internet is not real beef. Now, when you hear about Charleston White on the ABC News, on CNN News, on NBC News, on Fox News, then Charleston White has real beef. If you just hear about Charleston White on the internet, on blogs, on YouTube pages, that's just entertainment, and that's just what that is. I don't consider what Charleston White doing as real beef. Real beef meets the streets, and real beef is televised on the news, not from bloggers on YouTube. So Charleston White is okay. He don't have nothing to worry about. He just ruffling feathers over the internet. Now, true, internet antics can lead to the street, and it has led to the street. I'm not naive, but until that happens, Charleston White is just an entertainer on the internet, period. And as long as you feed into it, you're giving him what he wants. As long as you click his videos, share his videos, you're giving him what he wants. You're feeding into it. If you're not entertained, you won't pay no attention. All these guys that have created their platforms over the years because people like click on their videos. Now me, I don't really have a gimmick. I don't really have, you know, a persona, you know, that's for shock value. Like, I'm not a shock value. I'm gonna talk straight up. If my platform get big, it get big because people appreciate a straight up conversation. If it don't get big, they don't appreciate a straight up conversation. It's no antics to me. You know, I pop my shit with the best of them, but I prefer to stand on integrity, morals, and respect. I'm not gonna sell out for clicks and views and to grow my platform. You know, I'm gonna get better as it go, but the people who come to my channel, the people who subscribe to me, they're gonna be able to appreciate a constructive conversation and a straight up conversation. All the clown shit, that's not my channel. That's not what I stand for, and that's not what I want to build my channel up on. Of course, I would like to have a lot of followers. I would like to get paid from doing this. I would like to grow like everybody else. But if I gotta do it at the expense of selling myself out and represent myself like a clown, not standing on morals, integrity, and pride, the things that I growed up with, then it's not gonna be worth it. I'm still gonna make my videos because I appreciate being able to have my voice out there. And I do believe at some point, my videos will pick up. It will reach who it needs to reach. But yeah, man, Charleston White, he's definitely a topic of conversation. Actually, I think Charleston White is needed in today's society because he combats the status quo with the clown fuck shit we got going on in our neighborhoods, in our communities. He's standing up against that. He does it in a clown-like manner, but yet it's still, he's standing up against that. He's saying, you gangbangers, all you people that's tearing up the neighborhood, that's terrorizing the neighborhood, y'all need to be called out, and he's calling them out. And I salute it because I think we all growed up in that type of environment to where you want to fit in with the crowd. You want to do what you think is down. And a lot of times, that's joining the gang, that's hanging out on the street, that's disrespecting women, that's just being ignorant, that's being, you know, dysfunctional, you know, destructional. And a lot of us fall into that trap because that's what we taught. But as you get older, as you mature, as you get wiser, you realize that you weren't doing nothing but contributing to the problem. That in all actuality, you should have been building. You should have been trying to come up with solutions to try to fix the neighborhood, to try to get out the mess. Some of us get to the point where we can realize that at a later on time in life, but a lot of us don't ever get that opportunity. So a lot of what's going on in the neighborhood now, it's like it's a never-ending cycle of ignorance. You know, a lot of us are taught and bred to gang bang, to hustle, to hang out on the street, and to take, steal, kill, and rob from our own. And a lot of us will never get a chance to wake up to see that that's counterproductive. I mean, it's just like I was having a talk on Clubhouse to where Tukey Williams, the famous Crip who helped start the Crips, why he's facing a death sentence. He's on death row, and he got sentenced to death row for his crimes, you know, being a Crip gang member. And in the process of that, he changed his life in prison. He began to write children's books. He got a Nobel Peace Prize for writing children's books while he's on death row. So I got to thinking, just imagine that he could have had that type of foresight without joining the gang, without starting the Crips, to just turn to the side of being positive and doing something for the community. But it always takes something bad to happen, it seems like with us, to finally grow up, to finally realize and learn and educate yourself to do something right. When it's too late. Now, he turned his life around, but he still was on death row. And guess what? He got put to death. So I just challenged myself, is it a way that we can somehow steer and redirect this devilish, you know, destructional energy that a lot of our youth is following? How can we redirect that? Well, one, I would say this. We got to stop glamorizing and glorizing dysfunctional behavior. The thugs, the gangsters, and the gang bangers, they get too much praise in our community. They get too much credit in our community. They get rewarded in our community. Meanwhile, the scholars, the hard workers, the people who have respect, they get looked at as lames. They get looked at as cowards, as poo-butts, whatever term you want to use. They don't get respected by the women. The women don't sleep with them, don't give them play. All the glory goes to the gangbangers, the gangsters, and the people that's fucking up the neighborhoods. So we got to shift that. I do believe our women has a lot of power more than what they think. If they started popularizing dating the guys that was working honestly, that was going to school, if they made it fashionable to be a good guy, then I think a lot of those bad guys will start to turn around. The same way you got good guys turning to be bad guys, because the bad guys are the ones that get rewarded. So it's just so many things you got to redirect and re-steer. And I just want to use my platform to speak on those type of things. Because a lot of platforms, they're not geared towards these conversations. They're geared to the fuck shit. Now, I will do some reactionary videos. I will talk about what's popular in the news. But my main objective is to talk about solutions and things that we can help bring us to a better place. Because like Ice Cube said, I done ran out of suits. It's too many funerals. I done ran out of suits to put on for these funerals. You know? So yeah, man, I just think we got to redirect and re-steer what we popularize and what we glamorize. Like, I hate to call out names and pick on some of these rappers because it's really not their fault, because they're doing what they was taught and bred to do. But I'll just throw out one name, Lil Durk. Now, Lil Durk, I don't want to just put it all on him because he's a product of his environment, and also he's doing what he's taught to do. But I'm going to talk about the people who put Lil Durk in position, the fans. So Lil Durk, most of his songs, he's talking about killing people. He's actually talking about people that have really died, that have really been murdered on the songs. And he gained a lot of success, a lot of notoriety for those type of songs. So whose fault is that? Is that Lil Durk's fault? Or is that the fault of the people who's buying and purchasing the music? I say it's the fault of the people who's buying and purchasing the music. On the other hand, you could have, you know, I'll just throw a name out there, J. Cole. Now, J. Cole is definitely popular, you know, and definitely a high-ranking rapper, but I don't think he's selling the way that Lil Durk is selling. So you have to ask yourself why. We're going to talk about Charleston White, man. Charleston White been getting into it with everybody, man. He just got into it with T.I. and T.I.'s son, man. Also with Boosie and Boosie's son. Now, Charleston White is an agitator. Also, he's an internet personality. He came into fame over the internet just by saying some of the most outrageous, outlandish things that you would think someone would say. And know what that did? That garnered a lot of attention. He got clicks and views and shares, and he's became a household name just from being an ignorant nigga over the internet, pretty much. Now, it is some truth to some of the things that Charleston White says when he's talking about gangbangers and how they're destructive to the black community and how they don't do nothing but tear down and destroy. He's definitely has some truth to that. Also, he has the truth about rappers and the messages in their songs, how they're perpetuating violence, how they're preaching death. So he has a lot of things that he talks about that he's making sense about, and he's holding these people accountable, and he's holding the hip hop community accountable. So that I agree with Charleston White. Now, as it comes to agitating, mocking death, and just the clown stuff he do, I don't rock with that part at all. No matter what your message is, if it's positive, when you're mocking death and when you're agitating people, you're kind of hurting your message at the same time. So that's what Charleston White does. Actually, I think T.I. plays both sides of the fence. I think a lot of these guys play both sides of the fence. What I mean is, when it's convenient to be down with a black cause, they're going to try to make it appear that they're down with the black cause, but at the same time, they're robbing and taking money from the black community without putting anything into the black community. So that's why I say they kind of 1 foot out, 1 foot in. You know, I think that real change comes from groundwork, not from charities. A lot of times that these celebrities write checks to charity, that money doesn't really go to what it should go to. And the people that's in charge of those charities, they're taking the bulk of those funds, and they might distribute some of the charity, but it's so many different ways that the charity is chopped up and the money gets chopped up to where that person who's writing that charity check, they're thinking that all that charity check is gonna go to that particular charity, but it's organizations that have something to do with the charity that's organizing it. It's also people that work for that organization. So a lot of that money is not being spent the way that you people think it's being spent when you write your check. Actually, to really make change, you do groundwork. You hire your own team. You go to a specific community. You clean up things yourself. You get your hands dirty. That's how you really make a difference. Similar to the people in Chinatown, the people in Little Italy, all different other communities. They are employed by themselves. They did the groundwork. They got their hands dirty. What our black celebrities do is write a check. No, you got to get your hands dirty if you want to make real change. You got to build the blocks yourself. You got to employ people that look like you. That way you know your money is going to the right direction. Now just think about it like, we don't have, you know, you got Chinatown, you got, you know, Mexican, I don't think they call it Mexican town, but you know, you got your Latino neighborhoods where it's all Latino Mexican stores. You know, when you see the Mexican flags everywhere, you got, you know, Little Italy, you got the Italian towns, you got all these different ethnic groups. They got their own like little section in cities to where they employ their own, to where they have their own foods. They have their own resources, and they're all working with each other. But African Americans, we don't have one black town. We don't have one, African American town to where it's just all employed by us, where we have our own resources, where we're employing each other like that. And I feel like we have too many successful black celebrities, entertainers, to where we can't come up with one in one city. So we got a lot to really consider and work on and do as a whole, as a collective. Also, I believe Kanye West. I believe that Kanye West is another one who plays both sides of the fence. When it's convenient for him to appear and seem like he's for the cause, he's gonna stick his chest out there and make a statement like George Bush don't care about black people. But on the flip side, when he's selling his merchandise and selling his clothes, he wants to be in bed and rub hands with people who don't necessarily have our best interests in hand. That's these people who own these fashion companies all across the country, all across the world, these people who he want their validation from. So Kanye West lost me when he said slavery was a choice. Whether you feel that way or not, whether that's the truth or not, the point is, when you go on national TV and you make that public statement, you're validating all the evil that our ancestors been through. And no amount of money is worth doing that. No amount of attention is worth doing that. So when Kanye West did that, he definitely lost me. At that point, I see him